Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started right on time because why not? We're all here. Anybody who comes late, tough. So welcome. My name is Nathan Turner. We'll do more of an introduction a little bit later, but let me just see. This is a good group here tonight. Who's here for the first time? Fantastic. Well, welcome. Really glad to have you. This meeting, Stephen started this just a couple of months ago and invited Mitch and I to help bring it along. So the growth that we're seeing here is fantastic. We hope it keeps going, and want to just invite you all to bring friends. Let's keep this going. We're looking at different spaces where we can spread it a little bit more, make it a little bit easier to talk and things. So that's the plan. We're going to keep growing this and keep it moving forward. Our sponsor tonight, Lions Den Capital. That's Stephen's business, so we'll let you introduce that.
Perfect, thank you. We've got the privilege of sponsoring tonight's event. Lions Den Capital, just so you guys know, we provide private mortgage solutions for all sorts of different properties. So residential property, commercial property, land. We even do farmland, which nobody does. We lend in Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. So if you guys are doing any deals, looking for some quick closings, bridge financing, want to pull some equity out, distress situations, if you want to help bail somebody out of foreclosure, let us know. We can do some pretty creative things. So that's a little bit about us. We're privileged to sponsor the event tonight and looking forward to hearing Souvik. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you were able to sponsor for us tonight. So quick introduction for board members. So that is myself, Stephen, and Mitch. I'll tell you a little bit about what I do, and then we'll have the other two talk about what they do. So again, my name is Nathan Turner. We're out in Cochrane. Everything I do is in the U.S. I buy residential mortgages. So I try not to get my hands dirty with properties at all. I just buy the mortgage and collect payments, and I've been doing that for 15 years. Just got back on Sunday. We run an annual conference down in Nashville, and just put that on, and it was awesome. Lots and lots of fun, and had some really great networking and all the rest. That's my side gig, in case I feel like I have time on my hands. Stephen, let's go with you next, and then Mitch, come on over and we'll get you going too.
Thank you. Well, you guys heard mostly about what I do, but I also buy real estate in the U.S. So I'm part of my background was I was part of a team we were apartment building flippers here in Western Canada. So we bought and sold over 750 multifamily units and did about 200 million in transactions when I was there. And so I've got this expertise and knowledge. I leverage that into the private capital side. And now planning for retirement and things, I've targeted some U.S. assets and looking to acquire long-term rental real estate in the U.S. And so that's a big part of what I'm doing in addition to running the lending company. So
my name's Mitch. I do the complete opposite of everybody. I don't hold a lot of stuff. So I am in the new construction space. So we have everything from, we're doing spec home, single family across the United States. We're doing 50-unit townhome development right now. We have some luxury homes that we're building. And then our newest venture is actually in the co-living space. Some of my partners, we've decided that there's a massive affordability crisis kind of coming nationwide. So we're kind of at the forefront of that, trying to find a way to take my background and experience, which has been in new construction, and solve that problem for people. So we are building across the United States. So if you're ever interested and want to learn more about that, I would be happy to sit down and chat with you. But in terms of buying and holding, these guys are obviously much more knowledgeable than me.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so Souvik Chatterjee is going to speak to us tonight. I don't know him that well, but I'm excited to hear about what he's doing. I know that he's been full-time in real estate for about 6 months. So if you're wondering if you can make a living at it, let's find out, shall we? So, I'll leave that to you.
Thank you. Woo, nervous. Okay. When I was coming here, I was like, maybe we'll just have about 5 or 6 people, so I'm good. I've been here a couple of times, and the room is getting bigger and full, and it's like, good. Okay, so if I bore you guys to death, just let me know, and I'll stop, okay? Looks like I'm giving a boardroom presentation after 20 years, but okay. So I'll just jump straight to the point. It's been 6 months, yes. A lot of familiar faces here, by the way. Sean, for example, is just like, I connected with him when we joined Getter, and I think I was in New Brunswick at that point, and we went on a Zoom call, and I saw him today. I was like, we have connected before. Like, it's just a small world, right? And obviously, a lot of familiar faces here. Okay, just get started here. Okay, before I start, and this is always, obviously, a lot of Pace Morby stuff will come up. I sleep, drink, eat, anything you name it, it's Pace Morby, right? My wife has told me a few times, literally, that you should have just got married to Pace Morby. I don't know what you're doing here. And I said, it's not a bad idea, but I think it's too late. He's got 6 kids, and it's not going to happen this year, but you never know. Next birth, yes, I love that. But anyways, what's your avatar? And this is something which I asked myself before as well when I got into real estate. What's your avatar? Like, I want to get into real estate, or that's a very generic statement. Real estate is huge, like what Steven said, what Mitch does, what Nathan does, it's all different. When someone says, okay, I want to do wholesaling, let me tell you something, it's a full-time job. It's actually a bit more than a full-time job. Okay, it's not like I can just spend 2 hours a day, do that for 3 days a week. It's a side hustle. I'm going to close 2 deals. I'm going to make 30 grand. We'll laugh in. No, doesn't work that way. Otherwise, everybody would have done wholesaling as a side hustle. Doesn't work that way, right? So yeah, what's your avatar? I believe in this. So are you looking at today income, which is your wholesaling? Is it your tomorrow income, which is your fix and flip? Then, or forever income, which is your buy and hold? Or are you a deal finder, a deal keeper, or a hybrid? In the sense you find 3 deals, you wholesale them, and every 3 deals you wholesale, you keep one for yourself. This is the thing we got to ask ourselves, and okay, no, I can do wholesaling. If you've got a full-time job, if you're happy with your job, it's a good paying job, do not do wholesaling. Seriously, right? Because it's not going to get any easier. Let me tell you that. It's a grind. So if you've got a full-time job, but you're happy with it, just use that income to buy and hold real estate. So that becomes more of a, buy and hold, right? Okay. Yeah, like I always say, it's a full-time job. First 30 days of wholesaling. When we started, so my partners are obviously here. Lance is here. Selvin has joined us on board. Ronnie is our partner with us in the US. We'll come to that. So when I came to Edmonton, I joined this dealership where Lance was in sales. I was in finance. I've always been. That's the only job I had since I've come to Canada. I've only been in Canada for 4 years, by the way. It was 4 years yesterday. Thank you. I forgot. And my wife's like, we just completed 4 years in Canada. I said, when? She goes, yesterday. I said, okay. So, but yeah, so it's been 4 years. It's been a journey, and I love it, of course. Up and down. It's been a roller coaster ride, but that's a part of the game, right? So when I came to Edmonton, we joined this dealership, and I kept on talking to Lance about real estate, day in, day out. Before I moved to Canada, I started listening to Pace Morby before even I moved to Canada. I was in Africa then, by the way. And I was listening to Pace Morby, day in, day out. So anyways, I kept on talking to Lance about real estate, and one fine day he goes, you know what? Just stop talking about real estate to me. Let's just do this now, full time. I said, maybe that's the push I needed. I said, let's do it. So what we did, our first deal, that's how I know Steven apparently, because Steven reached out to me and said, can I get more details? When you put in a deal and they ask for details, right? So Steven was like, I can, close fast, I can pay cash. And I'm like, here we go, that's a cash buyer right here. That deal, well, Steven didn't buy it, but that deal was listed with a realtor for 1 year. I think it was listed for $200,000. It was a commercial property. Everything which our mentors initially said no to, we went and did just that. They said no realtors, no commercial, and we just did that. It was listed to a realtor. The realtor couldn't sell it for a year. I think it was listed for $200,000 or, yeah, $200,000. It was in Vermilion. It was a 10-bedroom hotel. It was abandoned and all that, right? So a lot of potential, but at that price point, what we did, we got it under contract for $145,000. We sold it to a cash buyer in Toronto, Ontario for $180,000. That was our first wholesale deal, 35 grand. And we said, I'll tell you what, we're doing this full time now, done. Right? Not every deal is gonna be like that. Let me tell you this, okay? There has been deals where I've spent I don't know how much time and we made 8 grand. That's okay, it happens, right? So, but yeah, that's how it all started, okay? So choose a market. This is very, very, very important. And when I say choose a market, talk to everybody possible. Talk to buyers, talk to realtors, talk to other wholesalers. Start hammering them phone. If you want to get into wholesaling, and if you're not comfortable using that phone, do not get into wholesaling. It's not going to work. If you do not pick up that phone, you're not going to get deals. You're not going to build relationships. So, end of the day, it's all about networking, right? So, initially when you start, I would say just start with free stuff. Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace. Anybody here who wants to get into wholesaling, by the way? I never asked that. I know that. Okay. Have you done any deals before? As just starting? Was that, sorry?
Land banking.
Okay.
For sale.
Gotcha. Okay. I will say if you're starting, just start with Kijiji and Facebook. That's how we started. When we got this deal, it was listed on Facebook or Kijiji, I can't remember. Once you close a couple of deals, then you utilize that funds to make and generate more leads, because lead generation is not cheap, right? Now, call with that mindset of solving someone's problem. The problem is what I see most of the wholesalers. I was talking to somebody the other day. He has been doing wholesaling for 6 years. And I said, how many deals have you closed? None. I said, why not? So just do a role play. And we just sort of tried to do a role play. And the first thing he said, how many beds, how many baths? I said, that's why you didn't close a deal. He said, what do you mean? I could ask this question. I said, absolutely. But you didn't even ask, you didn't even figure out my pain. If you don't know what I'm looking at, what's my motivation behind selling this property, you're never going to come up with a solution. But when you call somebody with that mindset of solving someone's problem, then it's a deal. How many beds, how many baths, 900 square feet, 800 square feet, doesn't matter. It matters, I'm not saying no, but that's secondary. The pain, if there is no pain, there is no deal, period. So that's what I would suggest, okay? Do you listen to Pace Morby? I see it's up to you.
Yes.
Okay. So you will see a lot of similar thing I say, but I can't help. It just comes automatically, right? Listen to YouTube videos. I was telling Wilbur today as well that listen to YouTube videos. King Khan, he's great. RJ Bates, you can listen to Jerry Norton, of course, right? Pace is obviously there, but those calls, they're gold mines, right? How to do the comms, I'm sure everyone sort of knows here. It's just, MAO is maximum allowable offer minus the ARV. So what's your maximum offer you can offer to a seller? It's the 70%, ARV minus 70% minus repairs minus fees. That's your sort of bottom line. Now it depends if it needs a light rehab, medium rehab, if it's a gut job, it all depends, right? But if you sort of call with the mindset of getting this deal for 60 cents to $1, most often than not, you have a deal, okay? Guys, 80% of the sellers we talk to, we're not the buyers, and that's fine. You do not need everybody to say yes. Just move on. It's okay. Everything that you're looking for is on the other side of the things you don't like picking up the phone, talking to the sellers. There is a barrier, you got to cross it. It doesn't matter for wholesaling. for anything, you go to break that barrier, right? So days 31 of 60, I would say build a buyer's list, and most of it call it like a reverse engineering. If I know, so we have a guy in Edmonton, he bought 3 deals from us in the last couple of months, and I know his buy box. So when I look at a deal, these deals I don't even post on Facebook, by the way. That was the only buyer I reached out to with this deal, and it was sold. We made about 25 grand on that assignment. We're closing in 2 weeks. But that's where you go to get. Build your buyer's list, understand their buy box, because everybody's buy box is different. And then if you look for those deals which fits the buy box, half of your job is done, right? How to find buyers? Go to meetups, check on Facebook groups. So what you do is, say you have multifamily, say you've got a fourplex, for example. You go to all those groups on Facebook and look for multifamily posts where people have inquired, reach out to them. Because they're looking for multifamilies, right? Okay. Target 50 plus buyer contacts. The more the better, of course. But you should know that, okay, I've got a cash buyer. I got this deal that fits his buy box. I can just, wrap it up as soon as I can, right? Okay. I always say this. It is about networking. If you do not have a network, you do not have a business. It doesn't matter what business you're in. Real estate, any business for the matter. If you don't have network, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you do, it's not going to work. We're in that sort of world these days, right? 61 to 90 days, I would say it's more of your time of following up. Give an example. We just in the verge of closing a 24-unit apartment building in Lloydminster. I spoke to Stephen about this when we first connected. That was 6 months back, maybe? We still haven't closed the deal, but we haven't given up. I have spoken to this seller every day for the past 6 months. Every day. Yesterday I was going to Lloydminster. He didn't even meet me. He said, why do you want to meet me? I said, I want to get this signed. We are not assigning this. This is for ourselves. It's a 24-unit apartment building. Creative finance, no banks, nothing. The first time, and we're just getting the deal for less than 5% down. No banks. He was like, no, I need cash. He's retiring. He has 25, 30 doors, and he went on and on and on. I said, we need this. There were days where I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this guy anymore. But I didn't give up. And we have a deal. Most probably, we saw in the lawyer's office, there were 9 revisions on the draft, by the way. 9. And finally, his lawyer got in touch with our lawyer. We couldn't even get his lawyer to talk to our lawyer. And he said, oh, your lawyer is not even serious. He doesn't know what he's doing. I said, what? He's a bar LLP. They've been there for 40 years. What do you mean? Oh, it's not the valid contract. Anyway, so a lot of things happened. And then finally, we're in this deal. We're getting for what, $90,000 per door? Didn't even negotiate on the price point. I said, give me my terms, we're good. Take whatever you want. I don't even care about price point, honestly. I'll come to that. But anyway, so try to make offers. Initially, the offers you're going to put, they might not close, and that's fine. But get used to sending those offers, because if you do not send offers, there are no chances at all, right? When you send offers and they say no and the deal falls through, you'll be like, wholesaling is not for me. That's where people give up. There were days we were like, oh, this is a grind. But we didn't give up. That's where everybody give up, right? You got to stay consistent and learn the skill. With every call, you're going to only get better. And it's not even for wholesaling, even if it's for yourself. If you come across a good deal, that's what we do. We just bought a triplex in Lloydminster with the partners. Creative finance, by the way. No banks, no credit checks. right? So we bought it for $280,000. The gross rent is $4,200. And yeah, no banks, nothing. And we have done a 1.5 years with 6 months extension. So the deals are there. You just got to figure out, how to get into those deals, right? Work in the business first before you start working on the business. Yes. Systems, CRM, everything is great. AI, obviously, I'm not saying no to it. But put in the grind and put in those efforts first. You got to work in the business first before you can start work on the business. The problem is if you spend all your money up front, getting everything in place, and you're not develop the skills, which is hammering that phone, it's not going to take you anywhere. Okay? Okay. That's pretty much about wholesaling. If you have got any questions, just let me know once we have the Q&A session. What asset class are you looking at and what's your usage? So when it comes to creative finance deals, and Steven's video, I saw it last time around, he pretty much explained everything about creative financing. I believe in one thing, it's the asset class and the usage. So your asset class could be single family, multifamily, like Steven looks at RV parks, mobile home parks. They're all asset class. And the usage is what do you want to do with the property? If it's a co-living, Section 8, HUD VASH, which is, co-living for veterans, Section 8 for veterans, but it's the usage, right? This is our first co-living property in Texas. I haven't been there. Lawrence was there. Lawrence did all the furnishings. All I know is this is just like 20 minutes from NASA. That's all I know. And I've just seen those pictures. Like I said, I don't have my passport yet, so hopefully day after tomorrow I have my oath ceremony, so I'll become a citizen, and then I can go without any visa and all that. But I haven't seen this in person. Ron has. This is a 5-bed, 3-bath. Creative financing, of course. I knew the wholesaler already beforehand. This is what we're doing with this. So it's a 5-bed, 3-bath, no HOA. The gross income is $4,550. We have furnished each and every room so this is the total money we invested, which is $42,000. Now, people might think, okay, you can get in a deal for zero money down, which we did. We had a private money partner who bring in all the funds. And we paid ourselves an acquisition fee to get this deal as well, by the way. So it's a 5-bed, 3-bath, $4,550. Expenses about $2,500. Property management $450. Reserves $200. The cash flow is $1,400 net. Okay, that's my 40% cash on cash return. The plan is to put this money back in there on the property and make it an 8-bed. Change the carport to 2 additional bedrooms, make it a 10-bed. The same property, if you make a 10-bed, then you're looking at $4,000 cash flow. I'm just wondering how much Mitch is going to get when he does that 24-unit co-living. No wonder he's not selling that. Now he's keeping it. Makes sense. Yeah, right.
For those people that don't know, do you want to just explain what co-living is? Because it's kind of a unique niche in the U.S.
100%. Co-living. So the biggest crisis right now, like Mitchell mentioned as well, so it's affordability. When you are getting into these rooms for $800, $900, so I don't have pictures. Sure, I have some more pictures, right? But you can actually check it on yourself as well. It's 2113 21st Avenue North, Texas City, 77590. That's the address. So if you go to Deal Sauce, you'll see my name in there. I don't know why. It shouldn't be my name. It's Land Trust. So what they did, they put my name there as a trustee, right? I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Anyways, so co-living is mainly, say, catering the affordability problem. So right now, instead of renting this for $2,200 as a long-term rental, it's not going to help anybody. But if somebody can rent a room with a, like a kitchenette, that's what we've sort of done. We've put in a refrigerator, a microwave, a smart TV. It's a queen size bed. It's a workstation. That's all you need, right? And you have one bill to cater, by the way. So that $800 covers your utility bills, covers your all the other expenses, internet, everything else. So you're just making one payment, $800 a month, which is $200 a week. That's affordable, right? Now people feel, oh, you're not going to attract the right tenants. I beg to differ. It's not Section 8, by the way. This could be for a young person who was just getting into the game and they just want a place to live and save some money so that they can move out and buy something for themselves in a couple of years on the line, right? So that's pretty much co-living. They share the common space where the living room. We are sort of planning to just remove the living space completely because they don't need one, and then change that to a bedroom as well. But end of the day, so you have got it's 5-bed, 3 full baths. 2 with master bathrooms and 1 shared. So 3 bedrooms share 1 bathroom. That's the ratio they say, that you shouldn't have more than 3 beds sharing 1 private bath, right? Not private bath, common bath. That pretty much explains co-living. Like Mitch mentioned as well, this is the future. Co-living is not going anywhere. It's only going to get worse. There are a few states that have already started this rule where they're saying it's just going to be a government subsidy income. Okay, so the government is going to give you $2,000. You cannot rent a house. What are you going to do? So for somebody to pay $700 or $800 for their living expenses is a no-brainer, right? Because slowly but surely AI is taking over everything. AI is only going to make it better for the real estate investors, by the way. There will be platforms, and those platforms are already there. You go in there, you put in the address, it's going to give you comms, which it already does. It's going to link you up with the lenders too. So on the same screen, you're going to get an approval. You'll see the loan to value and everything. You can process the deal on one screen. So, yeah. I always say these things, just obviously pest morbid stuff. A value of a property is never on the purchase price. Nobody asked me about the purchase price on the Texas City property. And honestly, I don't even care. Somebody asked me initially, oh, how much did you pay for the property? I said, I don't know. He goes, are you kidding me? You just bought a property in Texas and you don't know how much you paid for it? I said, you know why? Because I believe in this, that a value of a property is never on the purchase price. It's what you can do with it. If somebody can give me terms, I'll be more than happy to pay 20 grand more than the asking price. If I get 2% interest rate, why would I bother about paying 20 grand more? Problem is, if I negotiate that 20 grand and I make $100 cash flow a month, well, that's not a deal for me. Because end of the day, it's on cash and cash. It's a business, right? When you look at a property, it's a business. So it's more of a cash on cash, and I look at minimum 20-25% cash on cash. Otherwise, it's not a deal. I do not need 100 doors, by the way. I'm just saying this. We do not need 100 doors. That's not the plan. The plan is to have 20-25 solid co-living or sober living doors, and then move to other asset class. That's the plan. 100 doors will come with 100 headaches as well, by the way. The more exit options, the better. And this is what I always say. So this co-living property we have in Texas City, there is no HOA, and that was the deal breaker. If you're doing co-living properties, guys, please do not take HOA. They will tell you, the wholesaler will tell you, oh, don't worry, there are no rental restrictions. That's fine, but that doesn't mean there won't be restrictions tomorrow. They can change the rules. Then what are you going to do? So, but there is no HOA, you can do a lot of other stuff with it, right? We can change this to a sober living 1 year down the line. If that's going to give us more money, it's more of a recovery housing. That's not going anywhere anyway. There's a 9 months waiting list on the recovery homes. 775,000 beds short already. And they're saying it's going to be 5 times more in the next 2 years. Huge. Drug abuse, not going anywhere. Alcohol abuse, not going anywhere. And you'll be like, oh, I cannot deal with them. Oh, you don't have to. You just sign a master lease with an operator for 3 years, 2 years. And the best part is when you do that, you can actually treat it as an income approach, by the way. What I mean by that, you can actually go to a lender and do a refi based on the income approach, even though if it's a single family home. Because you're signing a master lease and they're going to see 2.8, 2.9 DSCR on it, right? Yeah, like I said, we always chase cash flow and cash. Equity comes and goes, cash flow always flows, right? So everybody who says, oh, I'm just buying this property today for $500,000 is going to be $600,000 tomorrow. Guess what happens? The market gets corrected. I don't say crash. Markets get corrected and they'll be like, oh, we lost all the equity we had. Real estate is a bad investment. Well, they never even checked if they're going to cash flow on it. They said, that's okay. I'm just going to pay $200 from my pocket every month. That's fine. Because I'm going to make 100 grand next year when the value goes up. Guess what happens? The value doesn't go up. It doesn't even cash flow. That's not a good deal. So one of my properties back home, in New Brunswick, when I bought it, it was a crazy market, right? And I still have it. And it's cash flows because, I did a house hack. I put it back on the market last year. I was like, I'm just going to sell everything I have here and then put it in the US market, right? I put it in the market, didn't sell, but I wasn't desperate. I said, this is the price I need. I told my realtor, this is the price I need. If I'm not getting it, I'm not selling it because the property's cash flows. What if I would have been minus $500 a month on this? Maybe I would have taken a hit and sold it. So chase cash flow, equity will come and go. Look at the last 100 years data. It's a cycle. That's why they call it buy and hold. If you hold it, it's gonna go up in value. Trust me. Okay? Oh. That's what pretty much we're doing. We're actively wholesaling in Canada, obviously, with our partners here. We have a team of VAs and acquisition managers for the US as well. The US partner here, he's here as well. We are looking at Indianapolis and Texas right now. So Indianapolis is more for us doing wraps. So we're going to go there. Wraps is one of the exit again, right? If the numbers make sense, we just land up just doing a flip. But I love the concept of wraps. And I just mentioned this to Nathan today that every time you check flipping notes, think whose name pops up. Right? Nathan. So I was like, no, that's on the cards as well, right? I'm going to North Carolina, to be with Pace on the RV park. For 5 days. I wanted to go for the business one, but I was already full. I logged in. So finally, I'll get a chance to meet Pace Morby. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways.
Smooch.
Right. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what it is. So it's like BRRW. The reason I said that, it's buy, renovate, refinance, and instead of rent, we're looking at wrap. Does everyone know how wrap works here? So wrap is basically, say $200,000 is the ARV, okay? And $100,000 is, so I buy it for like 50 cents to $1. So the purchase price is $100,000, okay? It's very light rehab, maybe 10 grand. So say it's $110,000. What I do is I go to a DSA lender and I do a refi and I sell it to an end buyer for a higher interest rate and a higher price point and collect a down payment. So basically you're doing a seller financing. You're being the bank. The best part, you don't have to worry about the headaches of fixing this, fixing that. And somebody might say, what if they stop paying? Well, just put in a clause, first right to refusal. So if they plan to sell, they have to approach you first. So what you do is, you don't want that to happen, but even if it does, you can still do the same thing and collect another down payment and collect another interest rate for the next 30 years. Now think how much money you're making for the next 30 years than just selling it as a flip. right? That's pretty much what RAP does. Yeah, and like I said, sober living is obviously on the cards. We are already talking to some operators in Texas. We have a booth. Do you know Gloria Canchola? She's very active on social media, right? She's in sub 2. So she's our property manager for the co-living property. She's very good. And she is actually, I said, Gloria, anything to do with Houston, you are our girl. So she's meeting with all the operators. We're gonna fly down to Houston very soon. We're gonna meet all these operators and we're gonna sign those master leases with them. Talk to Oxford Housing, few other players, see what they're looking for, and get a house to cater their needs. Just like when you look for a buyer and figure out what the buyer needs before you look for a house for them, same thing. Just do that reverse engineering. You buy a house, they might not need that house. So talk to them and understand what their requirements are, and then go and hunt for a house which matches their needs, right? That's it, guys. I think I'm done. Thank you. Yes, sir. Ooh, a lot of questions. Love it. Okay.
The mortgage system in US is different than what we have here. There's no renewal and all that in US. But here we have after every 3 year or 5 year, we have renew. If someone has a property that is not clear title, there's mortgage on it. How does creative finance work in Canada?
Do you have a property?
I do.
You want to sell it to us? Then I'll tell you. I'm just kidding.
But I don't, if I have a mortgage on it,
Oh, don't worry. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of your mortgage payments. I do an agreement for sale.
can you explain?
Yeah. So, well, provided you're going to sell it to us, by the way. Okay. Just kidding. So say, just give me a rough number. I don't know the exact number. I don't need to know the address, but how much is your property worth right now?
900.
In Calgary?
And
Edmonton?
yes.
900? What's your mortgage?
900,000.
Yeah, I get it. What's your mortgage on it?
So 350.
So you've got some equity. Okay. And are you open to terms?
Yes.
Okay. Then we're talking. Okay. When does your mortgage come up for renewal?
September.
This year?
Yep.
Okay. So I obviously need to look at all the numbers, but this is just on top of my head, right? I'll give you 5% down. I'm going to give you 50 grand, okay? Make you happy. I'm going to give you 50 grand down. I'm going to take over your mortgage payments. It's a 5 years term, 2 years extension clause. It's an agreement for sale. So the property is in your name.
So I will hold
The deed
title.
is in your name. You're only going to transfer the deed to our name when we pay you in full. But you don't have any expenses, by the way. And you're still getting your asking price. I didn't even negotiate with your asking price, did I? Just give me the terms I need. We close this today. We'll just sign the contract right now. We have a laptop in the car. Let's do it.
But the mortgage
Does he
is
still
still
pay the
gonna be-
land taxes?
What's that, sorry?
Is he still paying the land taxes?
No. Well, the thing is, the mortgage is in his name. It stays as in his
That's right.
name.
I will still
So if
hold
it's
the
more,
But he will receive the payment to, or the
so we just give him the payment,
bill.
basically. Exactly. So if it's $2,000,
Yeah.
his mortgage payments, for example, we give him $2,000 every month towards his mortgage payments. Obviously, he's got an equity of how much? 600? Well, 550. He says $600,000. We'll give you $2 grand every month towards your principal for 5 years.
And I will still hold the title.
Uh-huh.
And if I wanted to go buy another property, the mortgage is still on my name. Bank will
We'll
say-
take care of that. We'll just show that you are, we'll figure it out that way. That's not a problem.
Because bank will still see there is a mortgage on my credit. They will not, I will not.
In
be
the US,
qualified
it's
for-
easier.
Exactly.
Here,
It's possible.
it's possible. You have to just,
And that's
yeah.
what I wanted to know.
well, that's what we
US I
say.
know,
There,
because
there
I've
are
been-
there are lenders. Not all the lenders are gonna allow you to do that, but there are lenders who knows how it works, right? In the US, it's obviously very common. but here you can still do it, by the way. We do a lot of agreement for sale.
That's what I wanted to know.
Which lender?
No, how is it been done, right? Because if it's happening in Canada, how can we do that? Because if I go find uh, find a right seller, he says, okay, I will sell it like sub to or something. But his question is, if he goes and he wanted to buy another house, there is still going to be a mortgage on his credit, which lender will of course tell him, you cannot get finance because your ratio is too high. First thing. Second thing is, if he goes to different lenders, just like you said, there are certain lenders, but then he has to pay the premium charges on that. His interest rate is going to be too much, so then he's losing money as is by selling what property he's already have with sub to.
So, okay, so this is the thing. Number one, why is he selling that property? If he's going and buying another, there could be a lot of reasons, but I'm just saying that, okay, so if I'm selling this property to go and buy another property, either I'm downsizing, right? Or there could be other financial matters. I don't know how much the lender is going to cost, and we obviously have ways around it. Obviously, in the US, you've got more lenders, so the options are much more.
Yeah.
Here, but I'm sure there are lenders, because agreement for sale happens every day. So I'm pretty sure there are lenders. We can work on with the lender side of things. But these things happen though. Like even the triplex we bought, that was VTB because he didn't have a mortgage. That's easy, right?
That I can understand.
But when you have a
that's
mortgage,
sellers-
it's called agreement for sale, which is still fine. But like Steven said as well, not all the lenders are going to accept it, but there are lenders who will still entertain this. It's still possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, by the way.
Shamik, so two things then. One is seller finance. One is creative. In creative, there's a whole bunch. Seller finance can only happen in Canada if it's free and clear. If I have a property 200K, it's free and clear, I can deal with you on that.
Correct.
Rather than me renting it out for $2,000,
Yeah.
I will have peace of mind by handing you over the keys and getting
Correct.
payments from them. That's fine. But if I have a mortgage on it, then there's no seller finance. How does creativity comes in and how does creative finance work here? Now, if I have, again, my question is same. Even if I'm downsizing, still lender will ask my qualifying scenarios are narrowing it down because I already have a property, there is a mortgage on it. My ratio is not gonna make sense because my earnings are only so much. Even if I tell them I will rent that, again, that rental income is not gonna get to that point where I will have enough qualifying strategies to buy another unit. So of course, there has to be a thing that I'm not getting, which a lender will say that, okay, I'm satisfying that house with Shamik, he's going to take care of it. That agreement is not going to satisfy my lender. Unless
Right,
I go
so-
to a B lender, it's a different story then.
So that's exactly what we're saying. There are lenders, obviously. If you're asking top traditional banks like, RBC or Scotia or BMO to accept that, 99% they won't. If you have 3 properties, forget about seller financing, all this. If you have 3 properties and your property is worth more, they'll already tell you the DTI is high, you cannot qualify for another one.
That's the pain I have. That's
Right?
the reason why I'm looking at
So-
US.
So that's what I'm saying. So your options in terms of can you still do it? Yes, you can. But it's just that your options of, going through a lender just gets minimized a bit. Like you're not gonna have a lot of options. You might have lesser options, but that is still a possibility. That's exactly what we're saying. So the lenders are there. Oh yeah. This happens, like I said, this happens all the time.
You go to either B or C lenders, you pay
B, I
high
don't
interest rates, and that's how
The
you.
B lender interest rates are not that scary, to be honest with you, because you could also understand. I gave you a term which was 0% interest, but say it's not a 0% interest. Say you charge 4% or 5%, 4% interest, which is very common in Canada, by the way. 4% interest only on seller financing is very common. That sort of caters your difference of the interest rate you're going to pay with the other lender, if that makes sense. It might not negate the entire amount, but will cover most of it.
Okay.
Right?
Now I have second question.
Sure.
That question is buyer. Now, if the title is not on, in Canada, we only satisfy if we have our name on the title.
Yep.
Now, the buyer, if he goes seller finance and his name is not on title, then how is he sure that he's not going to get pinch 6 months down the road? Then there's somebody or seller says, no, we don't met the terms. I just want my house back because it's on my title on my name. Then it's just there's no terms in
So
between.
the agreement for sale is not something which, the seller and buyer goes to a coffee shop, signs the paperwork, and it's done. It goes through a lawyer. So you cannot just say, when you agree on the terms and everything else and you sign and document everything, you cannot just say, well, you know what, I've changed my mind now in 6 months and I just want to take the property back. It doesn't work that way. So everything happens, the paperwork of agreement for sale goes through the lawyer, and that's the reason for agreement for sale. The lawyer charges about $2,500 against just a normal transaction where it's $600 to $700.
Is that like recorded on?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%,
Recorded on the title as well.
100% caveat. So you cannot
There's a
just
caveat with that.
100%. You cannot just change your mind in 6 months and
Basically a
say,
5-year extending.
"Oh, we're done."
The same way you put a regular property under contract and you have it under contract for a condition period and then you have another month closing, just take that 1 month and make it 5 years.
So
So
it
you
means
can't,
just like
if I'm selling you a property,
Well, if
sorry,
that's what he's
Souvik.
planning to do, I'm not buying his
Sorry,
property from
Souvik,
him
I'll
anyway.
just- if I'm selling you, I'm selling you a property, I say, okay, I need 2 weeks condition period and then 1 month closing after that. Can I back out of that arrangement if I already signed it to you?
No, because the conditions are removed, so either I take your deposit and if you.
If I'm selling to you.
Okay,
So yeah, let's inverse that. So I cannot cancel the contract that we have signed. But, and we agreed to a 1 month closing. Okay, I'm gonna change the 1 month to 5 years.
5 years, okay, that makes sense.
You're under contract. It's just a long,
Yeah,
long.
it's a long contract, by the
The
way.
title still says on your name, but.
Title's still under my name,
But the
but there's still,
contract is
you
with-
still have a contract signed with me in agreement that I agree to sell it to you
VTB?
in 5 years at this price with a potential 2-year extension clause or whatever the case is. I can't back out of that once conditions are removed, well, like once we get through that process. It's just really long.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sorry, and if you back out for whatever reason, it's like you should basically sue, or he should sue you for the money.
I'll never say you
So-
should sue. I'll say that is a potential possibility.
And that's one of the possibilities where you can get the
You can
the
foreclose,
funds
right?
back, right?
Are you the buyer or the seller?
I'm the buyer.
So if you have passed the condition period, because my condition period is not 5 years.
Right.
It's the closing that's 5 years. My conditions were still 2, 3, 4 weeks. If you pass condition period, your deposit is forfeit. Like that's a non-conditional deposit at that point. So if you want to back out of that contract, you can, but you're forfeiting the deposit. Also, if I have to sell it for a loss, I can sue you for the difference.
100%.
Vice versa, if you back out after the condition period, one of the ways that I have to go and get my money back is through legal proceedings.
Yes. Well, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but yes, you can sue because that is a breach of contract. That's
Yeah.
You signed a contract, you signed the terms, you signed the agreement, and then you reneged on what you signed.
But coming back to your question, sir, agreement for sale is very, very common here now. You just got to use the right lawyer who knows and who have dealt with agreement for sale before, right? It's just to protect both the parties, right?
I got a question on the caveat. My understanding, if someone can perhaps correct me, I thought a caveat can only last 1 year. I suppose you can renew it. Is that correct? It's usually for pending litigation, correct? Can anybody?
That's a
I am not
certificate
sure.
respondence is
Yeah,
a
you can do
caveat for
respondence.
litigation.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you have to your lawyer has to renew that every so often, and you could check on your lawyer, make sure they're doing it.
So
But
in
this is a different caveat.
so in an AFS case, will it be a CLP or an actual
No.
caveat?
You only put a CLP on once the litigation has before you sue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So they're
Like,
unable to
once you
transfer
file your
title.
statement of
Correct.
claim, which is starts your lawsuit,
Okay.
then you put your CLP on.
Okay.
But that's different, an agreement for sale caveat. That's just something you put that contract on and it
I
doesn't
don't think
cost
you have
much.
to renew that
Look-
caveat.
No,
Yeah, it's just
no.
once
So the caveat can go
until
okay.
With
the
the
sale
AFS.
comes
with the
in.
I think
AFS.
so.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I
You've
look,
done
I need
more-
clarity on that.
So-
That's my question.
If you ask me, this is what I'd say. I'm not a lawyer. Obviously, I don't know the legal terms, but I can tell you this.
So they make you responsible of the property, which ties you to the title.
Right.
That's how the lawyer does it, and that's how you can't, because a piece of paper is a piece of paper, and then
Yeah.
everybody knows P notes and everything, like unless it's tied to a title, you want to be tied to that title, so you have that security. But when you go with the lawyer there, they make you a beneficial owner of that property.
And register as a caveat with a trust that you're talking about.
Yeah,
a trust.
you're attached to
A
it, so
bare
if they ever sell the property, they have to
Clear out
address
the
your
caveats.
beneficial ownership of that property.
And is it
100
very common? Most
For
of the
agreement for
lawyers, they
sales.
know this or?
Not every lawyer.
That's why I said you got to
that
look
way.
for the lawyers who know what they're doing. So the 24-unit apartment we just bought, there were a reason for the 9 revisions, by the way. This were the discussions the lawyers were having because the seller obviously was very new to this. And this happens. And that's where you hire those lawyers, right? They're going to charge you for this. End of the day, you got to ensure that, I do not get to every small stuff like this. It's not small, don't get me wrong, but that's where the lawyers are, they're in your team, right? They get paid to do this job. They have to ensure that you're protected. That's when this 24-unit project went back and forth because the lawyers were not coming to the right terms. We were in the right terms with the seller, by the way. Well, sort of. But he's never happy anyway. So yeah, we gave him everything. And then he said yesterday, "What do you want to meet me?" I said, "Well, if you have any questions with the contract, let's go through it." "Oh, no, I don't want to meet you. It's all good. It's all done. It's all done. I'll just sign." I said, "That's all I need. Thank you." So yeah, but yes, sir.
Another question.
Uh-huh.
On your wrap,
Right.
are you using AFS or rent to own for the wrap portion of the?
So it's the
BR?
US.
In the US, what do you?
Yes, so
what
there are 2
instrument
ways.
do
You can buy
use?
it creative, like you can buy a sub-2 or seller finance deal. You can still wrap it, can you? You can.
Yes.
Exactly. As long as, obviously, the numbers make sense. If you're getting something at 2% interest rate and you're selling it for, say you're buying $200,000 property for 2% interest rate, right? You can wrap it for $240,000 at 9.5% interest rate. You're going to still make money, right? $400 or $500 cash flow per month.
Is that an AFS?
Well, it depends if it's a sub-2 or seller financing, but it's creative. That's one way of doing it. The other way is basically you're just buying something at 50 cents to $1 through a hard money lender or a private lender, and then exit through a DSCR lender, and then wrap it.
So the wrap agreements, is that a lease to own or an AFS?
It's going to be seller financing because you'll be the seller finance. I'll be seller financing it to the end buyer. Makes sense?
So you're using VTB?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, it's still gonna be, so in the US it's different, right? So what happens is, say it's a 200K property, I am selling for 250K to the end buyer, right? I am doing the seller financing to the end buyer. The buyer is paying me for the interest rate difference. Right? Make sense? So it's just the terms here, but you can get into the deal through creative terms as well. It doesn't have to be through hard money lender. You can buy it creative, like I said, 2% interest rate. Say you've got some equity. So say if it's 200,000 ARV and you get something for 160, 170, you can easily sell it for 230 at 9.5. So you get that 7.5% interest rate difference on the 70 grand difference number. Make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just wondering on the buyer, the wrap.
The buyer, you're doing a seller finance, basically.
Seller finance.
Correct.
And subtail can be wrapped as well?
Sub-2?
Subtail.
Sub-2 retail,
Yes, sub-2 retail.
you can do what.
And that
Okay,
can wrap-
I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, And I'm sure pretty much, certain that everybody knows seller financing and, sub to, right? And Stephen explained it very well. This is how I started learning about creative financing. Again, base Morby stuff, by the way. But if somebody has missed that video. So anybody who's got an iPhone here or a phone here who they're not happy with and want to sell? Anybody?
Everyone is happy.
Yeah,
but
which
no
one do you
wants to
have?
sell.
Right? Samsung? Okay, how much do you think his phone is worth right now? 1,500?
Oh, that's
1,500? Which one have you got? Okay. So if you put it in the market, like say if you put it on Kijiji or Marketplace, how much do you think you're going to get if you put it for 1,500? Nobody's going to give you 1,500. They're going to lowball you, right? Okay. Okay, I'll make it 1,200 so that it's just easier for me, right? So say it's $1,200. I'll tell you, okay, I'll pay you $1,200. That's what you're asking for. I'll pay you $1,200, but I'm going to pay you $100 a month for 12 months. Will that work?
Okay.
But I'm asking, I'm not negotiating the price. You're asking for 1,200, I'm giving you 1,200. I'm not saying I'm going to give you $800 or $900. What did I do just now? Who said terms? Exactly, sir. You got it. How much? What's my interest rate?
0%.
Exactly. What's my term? 1 year. What's my down payment?
$100 when you get
That's seller financing, right? Sub to
retail.
you. What? Sorry. No. I get that. So I'm going to come. You asked if you can subtail, like if you can buy a sub to deal and retail it, right?
On a wrap.
On a wrap. That's fancy. So you want to buy a sub to? No, that's creative, right? So you want to buy sub to, then retail it, then wrap it. Well, if you're retailing it, how are you wrapping it?
If I bought it for 2%, 200K,
Correct.
I want to sell it for just like you said. I wanted to sell it on 270. I'm paying 2%, but I wanted to charge 5%, not just on the 70, on the whole entire term, 270.
You're going to charge. So on wrap, that's what you're going to charge anyway. So
It's just a wrap.
yeah, exactly. It's just a wrap.
Instead of selling it to another investor,
100%.
you're just selling it.
So that's a wrap. So,
So-
I'm still making 3% on the 200 that I bought it on.
Okay, I'll make it simple. So it's called the jacket strategy, okay? Now, what happens when you do through a traditional financing with hard money lender and do an exit through DSCR, like a borrower, and then you wrap it, that's different. What you are saying is you are buying something at 200K for 2% interest, let's say, okay? I can sell that, okay, to Isana for 250 grand at 9.5% interest.
On the whole entire.
Exactly, sir. So it's not on the difference. It's on the entire price point. Make sense? So you're basically getting that interest rate difference on the total price point. That's your cash flow per month, but you're still financing it,
For the,
or it's at least to own for 10 years or 20 years. It depends upon the terms you're getting into it. But if it's a 30 years seller financing, that 30 years you're going to enjoy that cash flow.
So it's
Great, thank you.
No problem, sir.
So it's 7.5% on the 200 that you're making plus 9.5 on the 70 extra that you sold it for.
Okay,
That's right.
exactly.
Okay.
So yes, just a difference in.
The simplest way to think about it is you're receiving $3,000 a month in a payment, and you're paying $800, and you're keeping everything else.
100%.
Now, in what scenarios would a buyer want to do that, and rather than go and
Because they don't qualify.
Exactly. They don't qualify, and they know they're paying more, by the way. They know they're paying more. Owning the first home in the US is still a dream, right? For a lot of people. Maybe it could be self-employed, could be a lot of stuff, right? They may be the new country, first generations as well, a lot of Latinos people. Like, it's tough for them. They have money, and they can pay you more, right? And they know they're paying you more, right? It's just easy for them, right?
how would the lender in seller or
No, sorry. Never mind.
No, it's all good.
When you're doing the wrap, there's no title transfer, correct? Because you're still
No,
under
it's a
regular-
contract for deed.
I'm sorry? It's a similar to
It's
AFS?
contract for deed.
Okay.
So you do not change the deed. That's the safest way of doing it. Otherwise, you have to foreclose on them, a lot of other stuff, right? But if it's contract for deed, it's the same like the agreement for sale, where the deed is not getting transferred over to the buyer's name unless you get the entire amount being paid. Perfect. Are we good?
Yeah. Great questions, guys.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So,
So for future meetings, that was great. Thank you, by the way. That was fantastic. Good information, great discussion. I liked all the questions, everything. That was really good. For future meetings, what we'd like to set up is like a deal share. I don't want to call it like a Shark Tank, but like the idea is bring a deal, something you're working on, present it for a couple of minutes, and then we can discuss, see what you need, find, whatever help you're looking for at that point. So it should have actually have a pitch. Like we've got here, like I'm looking for whatever, a capital injection. I'm looking for a partner. I'm looking for whatever it is, but find a deal you're working on, and then let's work it together. See if we can help figure it out. Thanks again for Lions Den Capital for sponsoring. If you're looking for some of those extra lenders, that's what they do. So that can be a good resource for you. And anything else? Next meeting, June, is that the 2nd? I think that's right. June 2nd. I am speaking at a different event in the States, but I won't be here, but everyone else should be here. And like I say, bring friends, bring whoever that you think might profit from this, people who are either in the business already or looking to get started. We'd love to have everybody come and just participate, because obviously we've got some good knowledge and experience here.
we've got, if you guys aren't part of our Facebook group, we've got some QR codes
good
there.
one, yeah.
So make sure you join the Facebook group. There's a chance we might be at a different venue next month. So you can tell we're running out of space here. We're trying to get into the ATB Entrepreneur Center on 17th Ave. So keep an eye on the Facebook group, keep an eye on the invite. Just double check the address before you show up here next month. It might be different. So you've been warned.
We missed one, like, do you post, this is.
Yeah, so this will be shared on the Facebook page. Yeah. So make sure you guys are on the Facebook page, on the Facebook group. We'll share. Oh, let's hear it for Dion for awesome camera job. I don't know if you guys saw the quality of the videos and stuff from last month. Perfect. Amazing. Dion's the man. So yeah, just keep an eye out and make sure you're on the Facebook group so we can keep you guys updated.
And then last but not least, we're here to network. So feel free, this is the time. There's some snacks still left, so munch on some goodies and network. Let people know what you're working on, what you need, what you can offer. Start with some small talk and then just take it from there. And hopefully we can get some deals going. I think that is it.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.